everybody, the Iceman here, WWE Ice This. I'm going to do a little video here from a wrestler from the past of the WWF. Everybody remember Ivan Putski, Gemini 686. I know you know who Putski is. I know a lot of other people do, but I know you'll appreciate the fact this was like in the 70s. You weren't born, but I know with the knowledge that you have by watching older DVDs, or I should say videos, and newer DVDs, you sort of know. I know you know who Ivan Putski is. Any event, Putski pretty much debuted in the WWF, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. I believe it was in 1976. I was a kid. I used to watch him all the time. My mom used to love him. They called him the Polish Power, Ivan Putski. He was a phenomenal wrestler. Nowadays, if he was like in WWE, he'd probably be called a jobber. But back then, he was a great wrestler. You know, he wrestled the likes of Bruiser Brody. I don't know if anybody knows who that is. Stan the Man Hansen, Ivan Koloff, who, you know, he's been around a long time. He was in WCW, WWE, not WWE, WWF. But in any event, Ivan Putski, the Polish Power. He had the Polish Hammer. That was his trademark finisher. And to me, when I watched him when I was a younger kid, he was a great wrestler. And I didn't even understand why he never got a chance even to contend for the title. But back then, when I was watching, Bruno Sammartino was the WWF champion. And back then, the champions kept the belt for a real long time. And a lot of people can tell everybody this. But in any event, they had a showdown at Shea in June of '76. Ivan Putski beat Baron Mikhail Cicluna. Remember him? Now, to me, he's definitely a jobber. But he did defeat him. And then again in 1980 at the same event, he beat Johnny Rodz. Remember Johnny Rodz? Johnny Rodz was a jobber. This man, you know, he would wrestle everybody. For the most part, he usually lost. But in his own right, he wasn't a bad wrestler. I know Gemini 686 probably knows who Johnny Rodz is, and he probably knows who Baron Mikhail Cicluna is. And, you know, and that is because you're such a wrestling fan, you look in depth to find out about what went on way back in the past, even when you weren't born. And Gemini has done that immensely. He's got great knowledge of wrestling. And this is not a Gemini, you know, I'm not shooting Gemini, but I've watched a lot of his videos, and he's wicked knowledgeable about wrestling. And he knows things that I didn't know, and I'm older than him. So in any event, we go on from there. In 1979, Putski with Tito Santana won the tag team titles against the Valiant brothers. Remember Jimmy and Jerry Valiant? Guys with the long blonde hair, used to come out and strut their stuff. They were, matter of fact, back then, the Valiant brothers were very popular. They were a really great tag team in that era. That, you know, that was really cool. But after that, I'm just trying to check out some notes. After that, Tito and Putski did end up losing the belts to the Wild Samoans. Everybody knows Afa and Sika. Usually, they were managed by Captain Lou Albano. The Wild Samoans were a great tag team of their own. Like I said, this is the WWF. They had their own style of wrestling back then when Vince Sr. owned it. and it was, it was actually fun to watch. But also, you got to realize you sort of knew who was going to win in any match, because that's how it was. The style back then was the champions kept the belts for a very, very long time. Putski had great matches, guys, with the likes of Wahoo McDaniel, Dory Funk Jr. I mean, he wrestled pretty much everybody. He didn't get the recognition. If he was here today, like I said, it's really hard to say. But the guy in his era was really, really good. He wound down his career. In 1995, he was inducted to the Hall of Fame by his son Scott, into the WWF Hall of Fame, I should say. And they went on to face Jerry the King Lawler and Brian Christopher, Jerry Lawler's son. Everybody remembers Brian Christopher and Scotty 2 Hotty. They ended up defeating them, and that was the last time we pretty much saw him in 1997. That was pretty cool. The induction in the Hall of Fame, and then Scott and Ivan Putski ends up beating Jerry the King Lawler and his son Brian Christopher, and pretty much that ended it. But if you were back then when around when I was, God forbid, I've been around a long time, Ivan Putski was awesome. Like I said, my mom loved him. That was my mom's favorite wrestler. Rest in peace, Mom. Talking about him, but that was her favorite wrestler, and that's it was fun back then to watch, and now it's more commercialized and it's more like exciting now. Back then, you could have say a champion Tito Santana, say, for a belt going against Greg the Hammer Valentine. You're watching it on TV. It would be an hour time limit. You knew Santana was going to win. They never changed belts hardly at all. And that's the big difference in WWF back then. Belts never changed. Now you got belts changing maybe every other week, every other month. Belts usually don't stay with someone for a very long time now. Randy Orton's holding the belt for a long time, but that's one of the unusual things. So in any event, I'm going to close this out. This is my video about the Polish Power Ivan Putski. People want to know more about him. Go to the there's sites you can go to. I guess you can go to Wikipedia, the history of the WWE.com. You can find out everything you want. But in any event, Putski was a great wrestler, and I wish everybody got to see him because he was really, really fun to watch. So, in any event, I'm out of here. WWE is this. So long. See you tomorrow. SmackDown tomorrow night. Best 2 hours wrestling of the week. We've always said that, and they better prove me right. Excuse me. Not tomorrow. Friday. Tomorrow's Impact. And I'm hoping Impact's going to do a good job. So, in any event, see you all later. Peace out, guys. Love ya. All my subscribers on Naturally Isis, please come back and subscribe on this channel. And I do the same for you. See you later. I'm out of here.